What if I told you the most hated traitor in the history of the world was actually the only man who stayed loyal to the truth? In a city of gold, ruled by a king with 10 heads and infinite pride, one man saw a truth that would burn his home to the ground. He was forced to choose between his family and the fate of civilization, a man whose name has echoed through the ages as both a hero and a traitor. Stay until the end, because Vibhishana's choice will force you to ask: is loyalty to family more important than loyalty to what is right? Lanka was no ordinary city, it was a kingdom of impossible splendor, a fortress of gold perched atop a mountain. Under Ravana's rule, it was the epicenter of Rakshasa power, feared across the 3 worlds, yet resting on a foundation of arrogance that blinded its king to the cosmic law of Dharma. But within these golden walls, a shadow was growing, cast by the king's ever-expanding ego. Vibhishana was the youngest of a trio of brothers who would shake the foundations of the cosmos, born to the great sage Vishva and the princess Kaksi. While Ravana and Kumbhakarna performed severe austerities to demand boons of power, Vibhishana's goals were entirely different. His one request was simple, yet profound, that his mind should forever remain fixed on the path of Dharma, the path of righteousness, and never stray into darkness. He was a sattvic soul in a kingdom of ego, embodying balance, purity, and goodness. While his brothers were armed with ambition, Vibhishana was a prince of a dark kingdom who loved the light and lived the life of a Brahman in spirit, serving as a wise chief minister in his brother's court. The breaking point arrived with a crime that would echo through eternity: the abduction of Sita. When news of her capture reached Vibhishana, a cold dread filled his heart because he knew this act of adharma was the death knell for Lanka. He knew his brother hadn't brought home a prisoner, he had brought home their collective doom. Putting aside his fear of Ravana's infamous temper, Vibhishana sought an audience in the grand court while the hall buzzed with the triumphant, misplaced cheers of Rakshasa warriors. "My king, my brother," he began, "what you have done is a grave error. This path leads only to destruction." He argued that abducting another man's wife was a sin of the highest order and warned that Sita was like a venomous serpent brought into their home, destined to destroy them all. But Ravana only looked down from his throne, his 10 heads sneering as the court erupted in mockery. He saw his brother's piety not as a virtue but as a weakness, dismissing his warnings as the timid worries of a lesser man who thought too much and feared the strength of his own race. In a final explosion of rage, Ravana declared his own brother a traitor and a disgrace to their blood. He publicly humiliated him, and in some tellings, even kicked him from his seat, shouting, "Go and join your beloved Rama. You are no longer my brother. You are dead to me." At that moment, the internal storm, love for his brother versus his duty to Dharma, was finally over. Vibhishana realized that if he stayed, he would be complicit in the destruction, but if he left, he would be cursed as a betrayer forever by those who prioritize blood over truth. Vibhishana walked out of the court with a deep, sorrowful pity, leaving behind everything he had ever known. Accompanied by 4 loyal followers, he ascended into the sky in a painful, agonizing act of moral necessity, turning his back on the golden throne of Lanka for the cold uncertainty of the ocean. As he flew across the ocean, the echoes of Ravana's mockery followed him. This is not how a simple traitor thinks. A traitor seeks personal gain, but Vibhishana was seeking the survival of righteousness at the cost of his own name, family bonds, and his very identity as a prince of the Rakshasas. When he approached the shore, he was met with instant hostility from the Vanara army. Sugriv, the Vanara king, immediately saw a trap and argued that the brother of the deceitful Ravana was undoubtedly a spy sent to learn their secrets and strike from within. Vibhishana stood before Rama, unarmed and vulnerable, seeking refuge in sincerity. Rama, the embodiment of Dharma, declared his sacred vow: he would grant protection to anyone who came to him, even if it were Ravana himself, according to the ancient law of unconditional refuge. In a profound gesture of trust, Rama had Vibhishana anointed as the future king of Lanka right there on the shore. But this alliance came with a heavy price. Vibhishana pledged his loyalty, knowing his intimate knowledge of Lanka's defenses would be the single most decisive factor in the coming war. He revealed the secret passages of Lanka and the hidden weaknesses of its greatest warriors, like the invisible Indrajit. He even shared the secret of the divine nectar, Amrita, that made Ravana nearly invincible, dismantling his own family's legacy in the name of a higher, cosmic law. When the final battle ended and the mighty king fell, Vibhishana did not celebrate. He was overcome with grief. He wept for the brilliant scholar his brother could have been and performed the proper funeral rites to ensure his soul found passage, despite the tyranny he had unleashed. So, was he a righteous king, or a traitor who climbed to the throne over the bodies of his family? His journey shows us that true loyalty is a commitment to principle, and sometimes the most loyal act is to oppose the ones you love when they have chosen a path of catastrophic destruction. But the debate continues. What would you have done in his place? Is there ever a justification for turning against your own family and country? Do you see him as a traitor or a hero? Let us know in the comments below if you are on Team Loyalty or Team Dharma. And if you enjoyed this exploration of epic choices, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories from the great mythologies of the world.